Hey everyone, Carla here. I just want you to know this is me after trying to learn how to edit these videos and I laid asleep. Just saying. Okay, here goes. Shrew's violin or fiddle was a popular form of punishment often applied to suspected witches or quarrelsome wives. Leading to its name, the fiddle held the arms and head of the victim in a rigid and unnatural position, causing terrible cramps and painful muscle strain over hours or days. Hand irons such as these that came from the Tower of London not only secured the prisoner but also restricted their movement for the duration of their imprisonment, which was often years. These handcuffs, which were attached to an iron base from the 15th century during the witch mania that swept across Europe during this time period, professional witch hunters traveled from town to town offering their services and portable instruments to get confessions and demons out of suspected witches. The iron brace would be hooked into a ceiling timber from which the suspect was hung by the manacle. They would then be subject to hot irons, the lash, or other torture devices to extract confessions. Dungeon ankle manacle and padlock. Of course, no explanation is needed about how these work. The prisoner is locked to the floor or walls by the ankle and padlocked in place to restrict movement. They could be left in this way for days, months, or even years. Heretic's fork. Yeah, if I had this one at work, I would be dead as much as I fall asleep. This was made to deliver torture to witches and heretics. Basically, it's a large two-pronged fork, with the prongs on both ends, one side to be placed on the chin, the other end placed on the sternum and strapped around the victim's neck with a belt. Any attempts by the victim to move or speak would cause immense and abrupt pain. The iron muzzle, also called scold's bridle, witch's bridle, a gossip bridle, or Brank's bridle, was an instrument of punishment. As a form of public humiliation, it was iron muzzle in an iron framework that enclosed the head. Although some bridles were masks that depicted suffering, a bridle bit about 2 inches by 1 inch in size was slid into the mouth and pressed down on top of the tongue, often with a spike on the tongue as a compress. It functioned to silence the wearer from speaking entirely. Can I get one of these for my sister, really? And cause extreme pain and physiological trauma to scare and intimidate the wearer into submission. It was used primarily on women. For extra humiliation, a belt could also be attached to draw crowds. Hundreds of years ago, grisly torture techniques were the norm. Law enforcement bodies used a facial harness, better known as the head cage, which locked the head in place while their jailers tortured them, restraining the victim's arms and legs as well, which would crush any hope of escape or bodily defense. Eye gouging or branding with hot prongs often would follow. Some of these head cages did also include spiked or thorny bits which were placed in the victim's mouth. The head cage often included an attached chain for imprisoning the wearer in public. Women could essentially be held captive in their own homes. People at that time also believed that the cage would stop witches from casting spells. Water cure is a form of torture which the victim was forced to drink large quantities of water in a short time, causing water intoxication. Also known as water poisoning, overhydration, or water toxemia. Adnan is potentially fatal. Often the victim's mouth was forced open, the nose pinched close, and the funnel was forced down the throat. The victim has to drink all the liquids such as water, bile, or urine poured into the funnel to avoid drowning. The stomach fills until near bursting, swelling in the process, and sometimes beaten until the victim vomits, and the process is repeated. Torture using water still exists today under the name of waterboarding. In this variation, emphasis is placed on inducing the sensation of drowning. Okay, everyone, that is it for now. How you kinda enjoyed? Remember, I'm still learning. Don't be too hard on me, please. Have a good day and come back soon.